A beautiful area, beautiful people, and it's the Mayberry, North Carolina version still. That it is so laid back, and there's nothing going on except just trying to survive the heat and the temperature and mow the yard. OLG. Okay, yeah, acknowledge the comment station. Go ahead, sir. I'm over here in south of Birmingham and just wondering where you guys are located. I hear him talking about Tennessee, so I really had more of a question than a comment. We'll go ahead with your comment. Really got a question more than a comment. Just wanted to know you guys, your location. I am south of Birmingham. This is KE4OLG. Okay, can I get your name real quick? The name here is Mark. Okay, Mark, the repeater that you're hearing is located northeast of Birmingham, right up in the corner of Jefferson County, and that's where I'm at as well. And the other gentleman's up in Tennessee. He's coming through the East Coast Reflector. Let's just call it a voice over IP protocol. And his name, I believe, was Boyce, if I'm correct. Boyce, say hi to Mark and tell him where you're located again. I'm on the Echo Link, and it's hard to believe that I'm talking on an Apple phone 13, and I am located right in the, I guess, QSOs, corners, whatever, of North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and Kentucky. With a good throwing arm, you can about hit all of them. But I'm right here 7 miles from Bristol Motor Speedway, if you've ever heard of that. KI4NHP. Yep, I've heard of that, sure have, and I am familiar with the East Coast Reflector and Echo Link. I thought it had to be something like that. I didn't have my phone with me with the repeater book to look up the repeater, so I figured it must be tied into Echo Link or something, but just was wondering if we had a big skip going on. But yeah, guys, I appreciate it. I'm in Hoover, Alabama, which is south of Birmingham. Hey, boys, it's W3NH. The PY station, the PY2BIL, Brazil. You have a terrible noise coming over on your repeater if you're listening. I've been taking you off for the last 3 or 4 days due to noise. Are you there? I guess he declined to answer. Good afternoon, sir. W3NH in the group. Hope y'all have a great day from KE4OLG. Take care, Mark. Get on more often. W3NH, and thanks to the control station for coming in.
Hey, well, it's good to hear you. I heard you talking with Bob before. It's been many years. I'm in the middle of something here, but just say hello real quick, and I just wanted to, I've been trying to get a hold of that Brazilian station. He's noising up the system almost every time he connects. See you later. WB2JPQ.
Well, recognized your call. Yeah, it has been a while. I haven't been getting on the tech net because we've been having a lot of local nets that I've been attending, and I've gotten on a few of the HF nets too. But one night I'll try to get on there and Curious Tech Net. I forgot which night it is. Wasn't it on? I want to say Tuesdays. Was it?
Yes, it is, Owen. Tuesday night at 8 o'clock East Coast. And of course, our morning brew every morning from 7 to 9 on weekdays. That's, get about 130, 40 check-ins every morning. 730 on.
Good to hear you on. Take care, and we'll catch you down the log. Okay, I'll swing it back up at the voice, and Mark is checked out with us. And Mark, feel free to get on any time. Locally here, the repeater's up most of the time, unless we have some real bad weather moving in. I'll take it off the air for that, because it's in my house. So anyway, we'll turn it back to you boys, W3NH.
I kind of let amateur radio slip that first started out many years ago, I guess about 20 years ago, and my wife and I, that she was going across Smithville, which was about a 4-hour drive, and we had no cell phone service back in that day, and so we got into amateur radio. That since she was doing a lot of physics, and the test was easy for her, that we ended up on a Thursday and took the test on Saturday, and I think I missed a couple, and she made a perfect score, and we talked back and forth to have a little bit of communication while traveling. And it makes a big difference in having communication. KI4NHP.
Well, good. Fine business on the perfect score that she had anyway, and I missed part of what you said. We had a little bit of a packet drop here, but anyway, yeah, I can share a few stories about testing back in the good old days before we had volunteer examiners. I used to have to go to a district office. Let me reset.
My wife is a VE who's never done any testing. That it seems like there's not a lot of need for her knowledge and skill, but she ended up giving it up. She has her extra, and just for the past 15, 20 years, hadn't got on the radio. And if it hadn't have been for her cousin who called us up and tried to get us back in, and Echolink, we probably still wouldn't be in today. This is KI4NHP.
line keyed. I was doubling with somebody. Go again.
I was just saying that my wife is a VE, that she holds her extra. She went on later to get it, and I didn't follow through. But if it hadn't been for a cousin and EchoLink notifying us last week, then we probably still wouldn't be back on. That it's you know, when you're not needed or wanted, and she never has done any testing of anybody. The clubs around here, we'll get with you, we'll call you, but they never do. And so it was a waste, unfortunately. This is KI4NHP.
Okay, real good. I'm going to wind up here in a minute and let some other folks take it. But, well, now, if she got her extra, you ought to be motivated to catch up with her. And I think the VEs have to take a test themselves, if I understand correctly. So since she's that good at it and whatnot, that shouldn't be any challenge for her. If they ever tried to take her out of retirement and get her to do some testing, I think she has to take one too, as I understand it.
I can't remember if it's 5 years or there's a time limit on it. And if you don't test someone within that time frame, then you don't get yours renewed. And up until this date, she just decided to let it all drop. That we hadn't talked on the radio in 20 years. But it is what it is. That the Asheboro Repeater Club or Ham Radio Club sit there and made a comment one day of when we do away with the Morse code, then we're going to open it up to CB radio, and we're not going to have anybody but CB radios people on here and talking. And I wish that were true, because I sit here and listen to the repeater on and off worldwide, and there's hardly any communications on it. And this is about the most I've heard in a day. This is KI4NHP.
W3NH. Well, yeah, I've heard a lot of inactive repeaters down here in this area as well. And there doesn't seem to be as much activity, at least doesn't seem like it here. Other areas may be more active. I can remember several decades ago, all the repeaters were tied up. You have to wait your turn to get on them. But anyway, I heard a lot of people say that about when amateur radio does away with the code requirements, it'll dumb down the hobby and all that. And I tell you, it's just like anything else. You get the good ones and the bad ones with every group. I've heard some people that don't literally know how to program their radio, and I've heard some people who are no-tech licensed, who are engineers and very, very astute people. So, it's just like any other aspect of life. It's all where you run into them, I guess. But the hobbies is held up, well, the service, we should call it the service, is held up remarkably well, I think.
Well, for some reason, my wife got attached to J-poles, and she's done a bunch of G5 RVs, a bunch of J-poles, that even some 220 J-poles and 6-meter J-poles. But she loves to take and solder copper pipe. But there's just, unless you've got somebody that you can demo it to, you can only build so many J-poles or ladder lines, 300, 400 ohm ladder lines, and out there, and so many Serbu curtain out there, which there's only a certain amount of people, and now that everything's digital, I'm lost, because I'm sitting here like, oh, I don't know anything, because I'd love to learn how to do the curtain. I mean, the digital. This is KI4 NHP.
I think I'm going to stick pretty much with FM, just because I'm old school and whatnot. But most all of the new hams are exploring everything, aspects of digital radio, and of course they have their gateways, and it's very comparable to FM, I guess. But there's a few guys that still prefer FM. I've run into a few. I've heard a few talking. I heard one, I think, this morning, saying that he did personally like the artifacts that he hears come across digital radio. That it doesn't sound quite natural, and that was just his interpretation. But I just like FM. I like to be able to turn on the radio, tune a frequency, set the volume and the squelch, and be done with it. I don't want to have to sit down and write out code plugs and go through all kinds of hoops to hear and talk. That's just me now. That's fine for those that like it. That's just not my forte.
Give me an OICOM V8000, 75 watt, that 2 meter, and I am happy. That we had one in our car and one at the house, and 50-foot antenna in the backyard, and I was talking halfway or more across North Carolina, all the way to the coast, and Dillon, all direct, all simplex. But you have to have somebody to talk to, and my wife doesn't travel anymore. This is KI4 NHP.
Okay, boys, fine business. Well, listen, I think we probably may want to wind up, let some others have a shot at it here. But it sure is nice to meet you, and I'm sure we'll cross each other's path again sometime. In case the next good band opening on 2 meters, I'll try to work some of your repeaters up there in northeast Tennessee. I hear them every once in a while. There's several repeaters up there up on the Smoky Mountains that come in down here pretty well. So and I'm sure you're probably familiar with them. So let me turn it back over to you for a final, and
Let's kind of cool off here a little bit and let somebody else have a shot at it.
Mount Mitchell in the old day, which is actually Pisgah Mountain, at night covers the whole southeast. Anything from the Mississippi east that it would cover. But I hadn't talked on the other. I don't even know if it's still available. But it was unreal coverage. But most of the time there was no one on it. That it was dying then, and I don't know if it's got back up and running or not. But this is KI4 NHP. You have a great day, sir. Pleasure talking to you.
Hey boys, I hope I got your name straight. I'm terrible with names. It's been a pleasure and enjoyed chatting with you. And I'll hear you. I'll run into you on one of those repeaters. Mount Mitchell is probably still on the air. I think it has a 1 meg split, if I remember correctly. And I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I can look it up. So anyway, take care and say hello to the missus for me and tell her to get back into that volunteer examiner work. We need people like her to help keep the hobby going. Take care. This is W3NH Clear. Thanks for the use of the machine and the system.